Three, two, one. We're in the room, Mazen. What are you saying today? You
Hello.
good?
Welcome. Bro, I'm alright, innit? I'm alright. You know what? I'm not. I can't lie. I'm vexed. I'm pissed off. I'm angry. But yeah, man. How are you, bro?
Bro, I've been on an emotional roller coaster the last 48 hours, man. I can't lie to you. I'm cool now. I've done the rounds in my mind of everything that's going on, and I feel like the plane stabilized again. Like I feel a bit cool, but I feel cool now. But yeah, the world is so fucking crazy right now, man. It's mad the time that we're living through, and especially as young people living through the sort of paradigm shifts, starting with the pandemic and now this police shooting. Like, we're really living at a very unique time in history, and there's a lot of information to process. And yeah, man, this shooting was just a big extra weight on,
Yeah. Like, tell me about it, bro. Like, to be honest, one thing that's kind of shocked me, obviously, suddenly is like the sudden wave of support that the Black Lives Matter movement has gotten, and general, Black Power, organization, the whole movement, this whole massive wave of support that's just suddenly come out of nowhere. Bro, I can't lie, like, I feel like it's a bit of a slap in the face, bro. It's a bit of sensationalist bullshit, in my opinion. Because, bro, like, of course, George Floyd, like, rest in peace, George Floyd, of course, like, but he wasn't the first one. And, bro, he probably won't be the last one either, as sad as it is to say. But where's this sudden support? Like, I feel like this sudden support is just fake, and I've got my reasons why. There's a lot of, like, I feel like our struggle suddenly been commercialized by the wrong people. Shit like Blackout Tuesday, like, what was that about? Like, obviously, shout out you if you're trying to raise awareness and whatever, but, like, I thought that was a bit lazy of people, to be honest. If people understood, like, for example, from the get-go, the whole start of the Instagram thing, the way I was seeing videos of George Floyd being posted up, right? Like, the way, like, his killing was so, like, people were so comfortable just posting up this guy being murdered. And I want to ask you this, like, if it was a white man being murdered, would it be posted up in the same way, without any trigger warnings, any content warnings, disclaimers, nothing? I wasn't seeing any of that. And it was traumatizing, if I'm honest, bro. Like, I've, like, had enough of seeing people that look like me get murdered for no reason. Do you know what I mean? Just because they look like me. And it's traumatizing. And as a people's, like, as a community, obviously you're posting the videos to raise awareness, and you're posting the videos to this, but you also got to understand that when you're doing this, you're posting our trauma as a community, and you're posting, and as sad as it is to say, there's people making money off these posts, and I don't think people are grasping that. So the whole Blackout Tuesday thing was, everyone posted black thing to, stand in solidarity with the movement, right? And it's like, bro, I'm sorry, but is that all my movement has come to? Is it come to just a black DP, a black photo, a hashtag? Like, that's what I feel like it's reduced to now. It's just been like, hashtag this, hashtag that. Like, even protests, like, I've seen a lot of people been protesting, obviously, like, look, I don't believe in peaceful protests, as you can probably tell by the man I'm wearing on my shirt. Yeah, there's no, we shouldn't react to violence and being murdered with peace. That's not my response to it. Do you get me? If someone's slapping me in the face, I'm gonna slap them right back in it. Do you know what I mean? You bring me fire, I'm gonna give you fire back. I'm defending myself. I have absolutely no reason to believe that I shouldn't do that. I don't believe in pure pacifism. Do you know what I mean? And that's my opinion. But I don't think pacifism is gonna win this war, and I don't think hashtags are, and I don't think black posts are. And, like, and I'm going off on a bit of a rant, but, like, bro, like, Instagram, how much money did Instagram make off Blackout Tuesday, bruv? Like, or whatever. And how much money got invested back into the black community? Bruv, I don't know, innit? And I'm not, to be honest, I don't think that the things that were achieved at a Blackout Tuesday were enough. And it also got a lot of people it allowed a lot of people to just jump on the bandwagon. A lot of companies, a lot of movements that have been exploitative of black people for fucking ever suddenly want to jump on the movement and post a black photo. Like, nah, it don't work like that. You can't be, disregarding black people in your workplaces, exploiting our culture, exploiting our community, you know what I mean? And making money off our downfall and our trauma, and then posting a black photo in solidarity. Nah, that's lazy. I don't accept it. Do you know what I mean? Go and do your research. I feel like a slap in the face for people like me and you. You've been working in the community for for many years. You know what I mean? Doing amazing work with Mandem. You and your brother, and bro, suddenly people like you, even this time, I feel like you're not getting enough attention. Like, these people that have actually been doing a lot of things for a lot of time suddenly have been pushed aside by this sensationalist bullshit. And it's a slap in the face, because this thing didn't start, like I said, with George Floyd. Do you know what I mean? Like, I saw a video of Sandra Bland earlier that reduced me to tears, bro. And I still see, the photos of her mugshot, they still traumatize me to this day, bro. And like I said, people are posting this and they're making money off of our trauma. But if it was like I said, if it was a white man being killed, I don't think it would be the same thing. People would be a lot more sensitive about posting it, and it would be a lot more, it's so normal to see a black man get killed. Do you know what I mean now? And that in itself is just fucked up, bro.
Exactly. And if I can cut in there, I think that's a really important point to make with all of the police killings that have gone viral over the years. Yeah, it's like, just as you were putting out them counter examples, I'm thinking like, yo, if say like some person or something, like a rape was caught on camera or something, and you wanted to hot up the rapist or whatever, and would you just be leaking that on the internet and putting that around, bruv?
Exactly. Exactly.
That's something that I think is very. I sometimes question the level of intention and consciousness of making Black Death go viral. Do you know what I'm saying? As if it's like some other sinister way of more trauma being perpetuated with black people, bro. Because when you see a police killing, why do like, and I get that it's difficult on both sides, because obviously that seeing it actually in the flesh and seeing the video footage is sometimes what actually is the only thing that fucking draws attention to these things sometimes.
Okay, so I'll pick that up then. So then everyone's talking about Black Lives Matter. Don't give me that shit, bro. Black lives don't matter, bro. Black deaths matter in that case, because then you're just posting black deaths, bro. You're not worried about black lives, because I've been living my black life for a long time, bro. So have you. And we're trying to fight these things for a long time, yeah? And bro, our black lives hadn't mattered up until this point, up until there's been a black death. So I reiterate my point. This just feels like, to me, black death matters, but black lives don't, bro. And you can hashtag it as much as you want. You can say Black Lives Matter as much as you want. You can turn on to your black friend and, hey, Black Lives Matter as much as you want. But at the end of the day, it's your actions and it's your, it's what you actually do in life that make things matter. Do you know what I mean? If I can tell my girlfriend that she matters as much as I want, but if I don't show that in my actions in a relationship, she's not going to believe it. And it's the same way with everyone posting all this shit. Like, it smells like white guilt to me. Do you know what I mean? It just smells like white people, like a lot of white people being like, oh, I'm so guilty. I've been complicit in this, blah, blah, blah. What do I do? Let me post a couple of hashtags, blah, blah, blah. Let me just suddenly jump on this bandwagon. And it's sad, because to a lot of my white peers, I tell them, like, look, this is a problem that you can choose to jump on the bandwagon or jump off the bandwagon. This is a problem you can wake up and be like, right, I want to dedicate my day to helping, racial issues, or trying to solve racial issues, or learning about racial issues. And then, you know, you could pick up a book, try learn about it, and then put that book down, and that's you for the day. But for people like me and you, we walk outside, like I have to confront and understand racism in every single interaction in my life. Yeah, especially because I'm darker skinned and my beard or whatever, I'm a less fetishized black man. So when, yeah, I have to confront this shit 24/7, right? And what's like, I just don't understand this sudden, you know, like, I don't know, this sudden just surge of like care and like guilt. Like for me, it's not care, it's just guilt, and it's manifesting itself in this weird way that we're seeing today on like Instagram with people just sharing all these reasons. Like I said, these people can decide when and when they don't want to think about racial issues, but I can't. You know what I mean? And that in itself is like almost like, you know, you're taunting me. A lot of people have been popping up to me as well, asking me, you know, what can I do? Like, what, like, bruv, like, I'm not a token, like, you know what I mean, black guy that's just gonna sit there and tell you, like, what you should do. There's information out there. You can go and read. There's all of this data, all of these killings. Like I said, George Floyd wasn't the first one. There's all of this information out there to be read and to be digested. So people should just like, instead of just randomly asking, you know, the blackest friend you got that talks about these issues, oh, what can I do? Go look it up, bro. Like, again, laziness, bro. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So one thing I want to point out, this is a point that my brother raised as well, and I thought it was kind of interesting that actually in some cases you've got a lot of white people who probably do care about this stuff in their day-to-day, but they don't know how to express it. They're a bit shy. They're not quite sure how it's going to be received and all of that. So I think in some ways, a lot of the people jumping on the bandwagon right now is also maybe some of that suppressed kind of stuff in white people, that they know that systemic racism is a problem. They know all of this, yeah. And it's like, this has provided an opportunity for some of them ones who actually are our allies and stuff to actually get the confidence to speak up. And the other point I'll just make as well is that, like, I was definitely on like a mad emotional roller coaster on Blackout Tuesday, yeah. One main reason is the fact I was on social media. So obviously social media is already like an anxiety inducing place in a lot of ways. But like I said, I think, yeah, for people like you and me who have had an active mindset for a long time, I know I felt a bit of like anxiety, because I was like, wow, all these people suddenly care about black people. And I was confused. I was like, because we've been doing this stuff for a while. I was kind of like, oh, I didn't know, like, they cared. Like,
where the fuck you been?
And I've been doing this thing for a long time. And but then I had to like detach a little bit and be like, oh, okay, cool. This is, you know, trends do happen, and this is kind of how it all goes. But at the same time, I have kind of come to the conclusion where I'm like, do you know what? A lot of people, as someone else I was speaking to put it really well, is that actually, I don't know if I'm comfortable with stepping on people who are just or putting down people who are just making their baby steps into educating themselves. Do you know what I mean? Like, because as we both know, there's a process of entering this journey of anti-racism activism, right? And it takes time. It takes reading books, and it's like some people might just be at the very entry point, you know. So it's like, I don't necessarily want to crush the spirits of people who are doing what they think is best, that might lead to more positive places.
Look, I ain't trying to crush nobody's spirits. Yeah, I'm just trying to point out that, listen, to be honest, if your spirit's crushed by that, yeah, then to be honest, this ain't the fight for you, because your spirit's gonna get crushed a lot fucking more. Do you know what I mean? And my spirit's been crushed time and time again. I'm sure so have yours, and so many black men and black women. So I'm sorry if you pop up to me with your like, you know, I want to get involved, but now I feel scared because all these black people are reacting. Like, why you suddenly come off it? Do you know what I mean? You get involved and listen to what people have to say. Take it on the chin and be like, all right, cool, what I did was wrong, and try and better yourself. Just because you did something wrong, just because you're doing it in the wrong way and you're posting about it in the wrong way, and, you know, like, just because you tried it in the wrong way doesn't mean now you should stop. Try and unlearn the things that you've done and relearn them in the right way, and try to understand the things that you're doing if you really care about them. This is my point, right? If you really care about something, it's not like, even if it takes this trend for you to initially step into it, if you really care about something, that initial step is going to be followed by other steps, right? And my point is, if you take that initial step and you're scared of what you see, you're worried about the backlash of the people, take that step back and get off. I don't want you fighting on my team. I'll tell you now. Take out it is, innit? Call me divisive, call me what you want, but I'm sorry, innit? But this is, like I said to you, this is a fight that people have been fighting for generations, yeah? So if you're going to take one step and be scared of like people's backlashes or black people's experience or black people's anger, then like, trust me, this ain't the fight for you, innit? Do you know what I mean? So personally, I'm not digging that, bro. Like, that's another thing. Like, where was this understanding of people, like, and understanding of shit when, like, there's a lot of shit I've been posting for years. You know me, I've been very vocal about my shit. But hundreds of people see these posts. I barely have a question asked, bruv, about these atrocities that I've been posting about. Barely a question, yeah, from any white person or black person.
Sorry, can I just pause you 1 sec there, yeah? Because one thing that I found quite interesting is that, like, look, man, I back everything you're saying and I completely empathize. But one thing that I found quite interesting that someone mentioned to me recently was that, like, they didn't even know what to say to me. So it was almost like I get that there is this awkwardness that, like, you know, if you're white or whatever, that you might even be afraid, even if you like rate what someone's doing, you might be afraid of that interaction because for whatever.
We'll get over it.
Yeah, no,
that's
and that's
my
fair.
Point, bro.
That's
Just
a fair.
Get over it, innit? Like, this is the point. These feelings that you have inside of you, yeah, about racism. This is the problem. The way we solve the problem of racism is to understand those feelings, evaluate those feelings, and figure out whether they're right to have or wrong to have, and whether we're going to act on those feelings or not. That's what racism is. Racism isn't just having a feeling of prejudice, right? Because that's just prejudice. It's once you act on that feeling of prejudice, it becomes a racist act, right? And, well, specifically if you're like from the white race, obviously, I don't think you can be black and be racist, but that's a different point. But as in, like,
that's a deep one, though. We might have to address that.
That's a completely different point, but I can get there if you want. But anyway, yeah, many people argue with me about that, but yeah, I can have that debate. But like I said, trying to understand your racial bias, your, subconscious racial prejudice that you have, like, trying to understand that and unlearn it is the whole point of this battle. So if you've got some weird feelings about black people posting shit, or your like place in this racist structure or whatever, as a white person, if you want to get involved in this fight, you have the obligation, yeah, and you have the responsibility and like to look at yourself and to try to understand where you can do better, because that's the whole point. That's literally the whole point. If you're not willing to do that from step one and get over yourself, get over your feelings, yeah, then, bro, like, fuck off, to be honest. Like, I've had enough of this shit. I don't want to, like, it's like I said to you, it's a bit of a slap in the face, bro, to me anyway. Like, I'm angry about it.
And I think, look, man, I think this is a very emotional time for a lot of people, with the pandemic and everything, but particularly for black people, the burden of, like you're saying, if you're a white person and you feel uncomfortable by some of the rage and the emotional fluctuations by black people right now, then, like, you're not looking at it in the right way. There's a level of stepping into anti-black racism as a white person that you need to actually be able to kind of, I'm not saying it's easy, but you need to be able to kind of deconstruct any kind of biases or uncomfortableness you have with a black person being emotional in a state and a situation where they are under persecution in the spotlight in such an obvious way. And the other thing I'll say is the reason why I don't want to get too, like, of course it's like, you know, we see these trends, it's happened before, Black Lives Matter happened a while ago and all of this, but I do kind of in my head want to be like, I want to give this one a little bit of time. Like some of those people who are active right now, I kind of want to be like, okay, in 2 weeks, what you saying? Okay, in 2 months, what you saying? Do you know what I mean? I kind of want to, just because I almost got in an argument with my brother yesterday, actually, because he was sort of suggesting like, because this one feels so big, I was trying to say like, yo, this happened. It like the Eric Garner was big. Like that, everyone was doing the hashtag for that as well. A lot of white people.
Exactly. We've been here before.
Yeah, but yeah, man, it's all deep, and we'll continue to unpack it. But I think actually it is an interesting point. I know it's a bit of a tangent, but this concept of Black people not being able to be racist against white people, I think it's controversial for a couple of reasons. Like I know I completely understand what's meant by that, and I think it's an acknowledgement of the systemic nature of the white racism against Black people and people of different colours.
Yeah. Yep. Sorry, I'm back.
That is something, bro. So I think it's complicated, and it's in the reason why some people say Black people can't be racist to white people is more because of the historical systemic structures that have enabled white on Black racism. However, I do think sometimes a simple statement like Black people can't be racist is problematic because it does just trigger the fucking crazy people. And
Black people can be racist. Don't get twisted. They can be racist in a structure that they benefit out of being racist from. That structure in society doesn't exist today. So right now, in my opinion, Black people in this society can't be racist. If I'll back up my point, right? We can be prejudiced and we can judge against another race. But for me, racism is a structure, right? It's not words, you know what I mean? There's a certain power, that white person can say, like, you know, these racist terms, like, you know, someone calling me the N-word or whatever, rah, rah. There's a certain power attached to those words. If those powers weren't attached to those words, they wouldn't mean anything. They'll just be words for me, yeah? So racism as a structure of society, right? The only people that benefit from it are white people. Black people do not benefit from racism in this society, yeah?
Apart from some of the coons and some of the Uncle Toms.
As a whole, Black people, us maybe some of them, the odd one or not, when they have to conform to that society and eventually, like you said, Uncle Toms drag their own people through the mud to get there, right? But like, essentially, Black people can't benefit from racism in this society. What I'm trying to say is, right, if I'm racist to a white person, yeah, or if I'm prejudiced to a white person, that white person's probably still going to get employed, yeah? If that white person is racist, has racist feelings towards me, it's going to be very problematic for me in my life because that could lead me to not being employed, not getting certain positions of power, not getting given certain opportunities, so on and so forth. Because that white person benefits of putting me down in this society. I can't, if I try, to benefit of putting down that white person in society. So for me, racism is a structural thing. And so how can I be like, racism is a structural thing and you put down another race to benefit your position in that structure. My position in that structure is never benefited by putting down a white person, is my point. So,
and would you say that one of the reasons why, because I think, you know, we do throw the term structural around a lot, and it is an important thing. And I think maybe one of the reasons why people don't always understand that in black and white is because we don't know history, and most people don't actually know history. So sometimes they see the police killing of like this black dude, and they don't even know. They might not even know about slavery, for fuck's sake. They might not even understand the historical legacy. So they're hopping on a trend for that reason. But the other point I want to make is what upsets me sometimes about these things. It never extends beyond, you know, you're talking about employment, people not getting jobs due to racism and stuff. And we got racism in the Western world and stuff. But what sometimes scares me and frightens me is how little attention is actually given to the fact that the third world is almost kept in perpetual economic fucking
downfall
at the expense of Western nations, you know, or more developed nations. And I think that's a terrible shame that, you know, even with one of the points I was making, even when this pandemic broke out, I was like, wow, you lot suddenly care about death so much. There are kids dropping dead in Africa from malaria and tuberculosis and whatever the fuck every 3 seconds. Like, and suddenly we're supposed to care about a disease that's deading off like a tiny portion of people. It's just, I don't know, man.
Again, people weren't worried. Like, people weren't worried about death or lives. People were worried about their own life. Like, they were worried about, like, they weren't suddenly worried about people like dying. They were worried about themselves dying. That's why people were suddenly scared of COVID. Again, I smelt white fear. That's what it was. Like, a lot of people, I'm not gonna lie, a lot of people in Sudan, when I started talking to them about Corona, like, they got worried, but they were dealing with so much other shit that it was hard to be worried. Do you know what I mean? Like, at the moment, there's like a bread shortage in Sudan, right? So people are having to line up, queue up for hours, yeah, to get bread. And I don't really see like enough, like, people are worried obviously about Corona and shit, but like, they have to go get their bread. Do you know what I mean? Like, do you know what I mean? There's certain things that you can't really go, like, I can't tell some of my Sudani cousins that, yo, you know what, don't go stand in the queue for bread because you might get Corona. Because like, he might be like, bro, like, I might die. I want to eat, bro. Like, do you know what I mean? There's levels to it. So again, I don't think people like, especially people in the West, they weren't worried about death from Corona. They were worried about themselves. And like, the same way even the government has dealt with Corona here. They're like, people, I think as well, like, they've been focusing on the wrong things, like, when it comes to Corona. Like, I'm just going to touch on it, like, briefly, because, like, my community has been rife with conspiracy theories, and conspiracy theorists generally coming to me. And look, I'm a conspiracy theorist, and everyone will be like, oh, that's a term that was coined by the FBI. I know, bro. Yeah? So, like, cool. I understand the government does bookie shit to destroy populations. I'm a true believer in that. What do you think I'm here for? Like, but at the same time, I think people were focusing on, I don't know, Bill Gates. I was hearing a lot about Bill Gates and the big boogeyman across the sea, like, you know, Atlantic, that we can't do shit about. And I wasn't hearing enough about women like Belly Mujinga, who, you know, who was killed by being spat at and then contracted COVID-19, and she didn't have the correct PPE, a black woman, yeah? I posted about her a month and a bit ago, yeah? No one said shit to me about anything. In fact, I got backlash. This is like a point I really want to, I got backlash from somebody, I'm not gonna name, but on my Instagram, I got backlash saying, oh, why are you linking it to race, blah, blah, blah. You know, a lot of people haven't got the correct PPE. And obviously it's, you know, trying to say that black people have more of a genetic disposition to die from COVID-19. I was getting that type of rhetoric 2 weeks ago. And now I'm seeing the same people post justice for Belly, say her name. I'm like, come on, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, like, it's sad because, like, bro, like, I think, like I said, people are focusing on the wrong thing. These same people, like, a lot of people here are, you know, 5G, coronavirus, Bill Gates. And it's like, okay, cool. Like, that's great. But what are you doing today about 5G? What are you doing about Bill Gates? Fuck all. What can you do about, you know, your own community right in front of you dying disproportionately from a disease, whether it be created in a fucking lab, yeah, by some big boogeyman, or do you know what I mean? It's just a normal fucking disease. What are you doing about it? And I think people are focusing on things over there because it's the easy way out. It's the easy way out to focus on these big conspiracy theories that no one can prove right or wrong. But it's not easy to be like, you know what? Fuck's sake, this woman just got killed, like, on our front fucking doorstep. And look, all of these poor people are being pushed out to work. When proportionately the UK has dealt with COVID-19 in the worst in the world. Do you know what I mean? And like, it's ridiculous, bro. Like, I just think, like, a lot of people are noticing how badly COVID-19, just like everything else, is disproportionately affecting the black community. And it's like, these are the problems that we're facing today, like, right now. Like,
I think that is out of interest. Why do you think it's disproportionately affecting the black community?
Bro, everything disproportionately affects the black community. We're disproportionately in the prisons. We're disproportionately represented in the prison population. we're disproportionately represented in the care system. Like, we're disproportionately represented everywhere. We're less likely to be diagnosed with mental health issues. We're less likely to receive proper help, like normal healthcare, physical healthcare, when we're in the actually in the hospitals. Where, bruv, we're disproportionately affected by everything. Like, black community, look it up.
Did you say we're less likely to be diagnosed with mental health conditions in the hospital?
Oh, sorry, I think we're more likely, right? Yeah. So, like, but also we're less likely to be seen. So, like, we're less likely to get there. But once we get there, we're more likely to be like, yeah, this guy's a nutter, without actually, like, so, like, they'll let your mental health deteriorate to a point, yeah, without giving you the correct care. And then once the mental health deteriorates to such a point, they're so quick to just throw you in the, you know what I mean, section you.
I think you make a great point. I think you make a great point, earlier about conspiracy theories as well. And like, because I'm someone who gets caught up in that shit as well. And to be fair, I had to dip out sort of a month ago because, like, the lack of research that goes into some of these theories is just as disturbing as what the reality might be. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like, exactly. At the end of the day, like, I get, and I think you made a great point as well, is it's a way of shirking responsibility, man. If there's some elaborate fucking Bill Gates 5G shit going on, you don't have to worry about, you don't have to care about your fucking day to day. And again, but I think the most disturbing thing is the lack of solid evidence behind some of these things as well. It's like, where there might be legitimate worries, like, you can go read up on Bill Gates. There are people who legitimately have problems with how he's operated with Microsoft, how he has entered the philanthropy game. There's actual real criticisms that get missed out when people start chatting all sorts of wang. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think, like you said, it's just a lot of misguided, fucking uneducated nonsense dribble that people just, like I said, it's an easy cop out. It's an easy cop out. I know none of these people. I know, like, and again, it's that sensationalist shit. When the new iPhones come out in November, do you know what I mean? And they're 5G ready, bro, I ain't gonna hear this shit. I'm just gonna be hearing about the new iPhones. Do you know what I mean? No, I'm not gonna hear, oh, 5G's fucking killing me or whatever. And bro, like, it's just, I'm obviously, like, computer scientist, like, by trade, trying to think. So, like, it's like, a lot of this 5G shit I know is grounded in nonsense, like, in terms of actual, like, you know, facts and evidence. And, like, I was studying for, like, I was doing a networking module this year, right? It was hard as fuck, bro. And I actually posted a little photo of one of the questions that I was, like, trying to answer, right? And I was like, yo, 5G experts, please pop up and talk to me about this shit, right? Because this is a basic networking question. And ain't no one pops up, nobody, right? And I'm not trying to flaunt my knowledge on people, yeah, because I was trying to answer the question. I was just saying, like, people want to talk about shit and they have no basic understanding of the topic. It's very hard to make, like, you know, blanket statements such as, oh, 5G is really bad for you. I think a lot of people got, a lot of people in that community as well are worried about being spied on. Now, I agree, like, I don't like being spied on. And bad people are like, oh, you know, I don't want to give my information away and shit like that. And they're getting that mixed up with 5G. And they're being like, oh, if, you know, when the government implement 5G, it's going to be easier for them to, like, harvest your information. But take it from me, they can harvest your information just as quickly, and this 5G shit doesn't make any difference. You have been giving away your information for free for years, yeah? Since the start of social media, all of this shit. Bruv, these are the same people that are posting where they go for lunch, fucking what they're doing at yard, what they're watching, like, on TV, on Netflix. Bruv, I know everything about you, and I'm not the government. So what, you know what I mean? If the government wanted to find this shit about you, they could easily hack into your phone without you even knowing. Come and, like, take your shit. Like, bruv, like, as black men, we know, like, our rights are never respected. If the police wanted to just pull up on me, put me in handcuffs, and just take my phone, they've done that shit before. They pulled me over, just put me in handcuffs without telling me why they're detaining me. And they could just take my phone and just try to put some dumb shit on me. Like, personally, I think the fear of 5G and things like that, or also maybe has some sort of link to that trauma of like Black people being just scared of authority, generally, because of the way that obviously, yeah, we've been abused in the past. And so people are just lumping all of this shit together, like some shit they do understand, like being taken the piss out of, and then some shit they don't understand, like 5G, and they're all just lumping it together and being scared. But my question, sorry, like what I'd say to you lot is, yeah, everyone's been giving away the information for free for years, so it's too late, bro. Like it's way too late. Like
the other thing I was going to ask is just wheeling back a little bit to the recent stuff that has been saying that Black and minority ethnic people have been, disproportionately affected by COVID and whatnot. Like for me, when I first saw that, I see a Guardian article about that, and the headline was Black people more likely to die of COVID. And then I click on the link and it takes me to a video that says BAME people more likely to die of COVID. So I'm like, but BAME people aren't Black people. So, and then I have all these questions about, well, who's got the time to be doing these studies in the middle of a fucking pandemic? Why are people, and a part of me, and maybe it's my cynicism, I was kind of like, are you really trying to look for an identity politics angle in this? And also, why are you not pretending, like, what if you just went and did a study to be like, poor people are more affected by COVID? Do you know what I mean? So I was, again, it felt like confusing information. And I'm not trying to deny that, BME people have not been affected by this more or whatever. I'm just saying, like, I'm just questioning the kind of reasoning for doing that research and like the fear mongering that's already going on. Like, do you know what I mean? It's just confuses me.
You know what it is? Like, for me, like, obviously the way the shit come out, I was like, fuck it, someone's done a study, like on how many people are dying or whatever. Like, I wasn't really that concerned about that because I don't know, maybe I just didn't really see it because like bare people do studies all the time, and I was just thinking, fuck it. But if you actually look at the numbers, they're probably quite easy to like figure out, and it's probably quite easy logically to think about it, like why we're actually being affected worse by it and stuff like that. Like, if you think about it, like, I know a lot of the people that, like, a lot of Black people that I know are more likely to live in houses that like have loads of people in, so they're probably more likely to infect a lot more people. Black people also have like a higher number of, like, I know a lot of my aunties have diabetes and, mad health conditions. And like, I know the rate of diabetes and, high blood pressure and health conditions generally are quite high. And like, so they tend to live in like larger, like family groups or whatever. Like, and they also tend to have like aging family members in their houses, like grandmas living with them, and, older aunties, whatever, whatnot. Also, when it comes to Black people receiving healthcare, like, I know myself, I've had many, many experiences with the NHS in my life. And trust me, I've not got the same type of treatment that my white peers have got. So we get worse healthcare, like all the data and evidence backs that up too. So it kind of makes sense that we're less likely to recover from the disease once we get it, and kind of almost more likely to get it. Do you know what I mean? Because we're around like more people that might be exposed to each other. And also, a lot of Black people I know all chill together. Do you know what I mean? Like, they chill in groups that are like very condensed very dense. There's a dense population of Black people. So like, they all chill together all the time. So logically, this is just my experience anyway. Like, obviously I can't vouch for everyone else, but they chill together all the time, and they're always in big. They tend to move in large. Like, my people tend to move in larger groups, so they're more likely to, if they have something, infect more people with it, and so on and so forth. So I feel like it's a bit logical. Like,
look at the protests, bro. I mean, now, fucking hell, what? See, one reason why I'm kind of not on the protests is because I can't deal with the contradictory information of being told it's a pandemic 2 weeks ago, people being shamed for going outside, and now suddenly there's this encouragement to go and protest right next to each other. The cognitive dissonance there is crazy, bro.
Yeah, it's sorry, I'm just gonna move because this. All right. Let me sit up again. Yeah, bro. To be honest, what you just said there about the protests, 100%, I agree. Like, personally, I didn't want to go because I thought, personally, like I said earlier, I don't believe in peaceful protest. And also, from the protests that I've been exposed to, especially the ones in Oxford, I don't actually know what people are protesting for specifically. Um, so like, yeah, like specifically what people were asking for. Like usually a protest has some sort of purpose to it. Like, you know, we want this or we want that, or I just don't know like if going into a park and shouting Black Lives Matter was going to do anything for me, like personally. It might have done something for other people, bro. Like, I'm not trying to shit on no one's parade.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
You know what I mean? But personally, for me, I don't think I would have benefited from it that much. I heard that like there was quite a lot of people there, and the energy that was there was, you know, was good energy. Like, but again, it seems a bit sensationalist, and like, what are we asking for? And again, it just smelt a little bit of like white guilt, especially the one like that I've seen like local to me anyway. Obviously, the ones in London, I saw John Boyega make that speech. That was powerful. That touched me. I can't lie. So, yeah, it's nice to see people in solidarity with each other. But it's important to remember in these times, like I said, this is a fight that's been going on for a long time. And it's important to remember who we're fighting against and how we need to fight this fight. That's the most important thing. We don't need to fight this fight by giving these people that are oppressing us more money, more opportunity to exploit us, by utilizing all of these, you know, a lot of these social media streams. I went on Spotify earlier, saw an official Black Lives Matter playlist. Like, what does that even mean, bro? Like, you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? And it's like, we need to stop giving these people opportunities to do this. We need to go back to remember how we were fighting this fight, which was support your local Black businesses, you know, look at outlets like Mandem, talk to people, understand your own racial bias, and try to challenge eventually yourself. It all starts at home. Like, that's the main thing. Like, people think they got to go out and do like, you know, some mad, crazy, you know, revolutionary standpoint to fucking change like Black people's lives. You really don't need to do that. It all starts from home. It all starts from talking to, you know, your Black peers, understanding their experiences that are different from yours, you know, standing in solidarity with them. Not even standing in solidarity with 1,000 people in a park that you don't know. Go stand in solidarity with the people that you do know, the people that are close to home. You know, understand, like I said, their experiences. Try to change and cater your experiences to their experiences. Use your white privilege to help people, to help the people that are closest to you first. You know, my girlfriend's white, bro. Like, do you know what I mean? And she's probably been lucky to, since she's been with me, she's experienced a lot of different interactions in her life. And her white privilege has almost been impacted sometimes when she's with me. So like, she's kind of come to understand that, like, obviously over the years, and obviously, like I said, I'm very active and vocal about these topics. I'm very in touch with my emotions and my understandings of how this system is oppressing me. So like, she's been hearing all of that for a long time. So she does a lot, like in her workplace, for example, to give a voice, well, speak for the people who don't have a voice, such as like the Black women and the marginalized, you know, people in her office. And, you know, even little things like contact your workplace and ask them what are they doing to help Black people in this time. It's a testing time mentally for all of us. What is your HR department doing for them? Just send the email. Say, you know, an email would be nice just to send out to everybody, like everybody that's been affected by racism. You know, we'd like you to know that we're on your side, and if you experience any workplace racism, let us know. And, you know, if you need mental health leave, something like that. That's what we could do to like put pressure on those people, change Black people's lives in the ways that you can. You don't need to donate £1 million to all of these different organizations. But like I said, just, you know, read an article on Mandem, or, you know, buy a book from a Black person and that's written by a Black person, and just, you know, read it, understand, you know, like, it doesn't even have to be about
black power or black economics. Just it could be just a fiction story, bro. Not all of us are freedom fighters. Do you know what I mean? Some of us are just normal people, bro. Like there's not space for all of us to be like me and you. There's also some people that don't want to fight this fight, and that's okay. Do you know what I mean? But let's try to understand that. Let's try to I said, like I said, remember how we're fighting this fight. That's the most important thing that we need to do.
Yeah, man. Thank you, Mazen, man. That all summed it up, I think, man. And yeah, man, it's always a pleasure talking to you and hearing your words of wisdom, man. And I think your viewpoint is very needed right now as well, because there is a little bit of sensationalism going on. But the most important thing is, man, you heard it here first. We fight racism. Go get yourself a white girlfriend. That's it. No, shout out all the black women. But yeah, man, Mazen, big ups, man. Have literally, man, I've appreciated your support. As I've said before, like from day one, you were supporting Mandem before it had even launched, and like, yeah, that's so valuable to me. And I think, yeah, like you say, this is something that we all approach from different angles and all do what we can, man. So yeah, man, big ups. Thank you for speaking to me, man.
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Just like my last point as well. Like you said about, you know, the women. I want to shout out all the black women because they're also the most represented and they're the most oppressed people in society today. My sister, all of my like my sisters, they go through all this shit all the time, and I see it and it breaks my heart. And you know what? Even the data is biased towards black men. There's such limited data out there regarding black women's struggles, and obviously, yeah, it's heartbreaking. So to all the black women out there that are struggling, you know what I mean, shout you out, because
big up.
You know, big you up, and like, you know, you're not alone in the struggle, and we need you to fight this fight more. You're more important to us than the men in this fight. I just want them to know that. And like, another thing to black men, let's make sure that you're looking after your sisters, you're giving them a voice, you're hearing what they have to say, and yeah, fight their fight, because it's just as important, if not more important than yours. So yeah, shout them out. And also again, shout out Mandem, shout out all of the independent, you know, black power movements that have been moving in the UK for years. Powers to all of you. Let's all continue to fight this fight together. And I said, remember how to fight this fight. Let's do it in the spirit of this man here. You get me? And let's fight fire with fire, people. Do you know what I mean? Let's not sit back and
cop that.
That's it.
Cop this.
That's
Cop this.
Brother Malcolm, man.
Buy
that book, understand it. Yeah, man. And let's shout you all out in this difficult time.
Big ups, man. Thank you, man. Thank you again. Always a pleasure talking to you, bro. All right. Peace out, man. Take it easy, yeah?
Bro. Shout out, man.
Today.
Love.